Inner and outer balance is everything. Find out more on the next Mystic Fix, Saturday nights at 8 on NewsTalkSTL.
Mystic Fix, a program for the whole being, with Julia Gordon-Bramer on NewsTalkSTL.
Welcome to Mystic Fix. I'm Julia Gordon-Bramer. This week's episode corresponds with the Justice Tarot card, and I'm relating that to the subject of Ayurveda. Ayurveda and the Justice Tarot card both emphasize the importance of balance, fairness, and taking a holistic approach to health and well-being. And here to talk about Ayurveda is Andrew Nunberg. Andy is certified as a breath and meditation instructor with the Art of Living Foundation and with over 15 years of experience. He recently got certification in Ayurvedic bodywork through, if I'm saying this right, Kerala Ayurveda Academy in 2012? Kerala, okay. Andy's work is focused on helping be healthy from an Ayurvedic perspective that includes body, mind, and spirit. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I had my first experience with Ayurvedic bodywork with you. And I got to say, I was pretty amazed at a couple of things. The deep relaxation, like it was the middle of the day, I was not tired, and you put me into a total dream state. So is that normal?
Yes, it is. So your particular treatment is called Marma or Marma Chikitsa. Chikitsa just means like therapy or treatment.
Uh-huh.
And Marma are the vulnerable points on the body. It's very interesting that Marma in Ayurveda came through martial arts. So in martial arts, there are these points on the body that were known to, if struck, could cause death or maiming or, have all these gruesome classifications of Marma points.
Uh-huh.
And these were held in different families for a long time. And in India, not many people know that there are these martial arts, especially in Tamil Nadu, which is in the south of India. And then eventually that got passed on to the Vaidyas, the Ayurvedic physicians. Mm-hmm. And so they started using that to not hurt people, but to help. So our touch is intelligent in the sense that our body knows when touch is beneficial and when it's not.
Okay.
So these same spots, when touched in a way that's not beneficial, maleficent or whatever, then it can cause certain harm. But if we touch it in a positive way, it can elicit a cascade of positive responses.
Okay.
And this is very similar to Chinese medicine and acupuncture. In Ayurveda, there are only maybe 108 Marma points in the body, 108 to 110, but you have thousands and thousands of what we call nadis, which are pretty much the same as meridians in Chinese medicine. So Marma Chikitsa is all about removing obstacles in the flow of prana. Or
prana being the life force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's similar to qi in Chinese medicine.
Okay.
When prana moves through this system and keeps us alive. Mm-hmm. And it can get obstructed, it can get blocked. And one of the ways we can relieve these blocks is through these different Marma points. So what I gave you is something that my teacher from Art of Living, Shri Ravi Shankar, came up with a Marma treatment that's sort of a one-size-fits-all because it hits every all the major glands are affected, all the major body systems are affected, organ systems, respiration, circulation, all that are affected. So no matter kind of what you have, it'll help get rectified.
Yeah.
And the experience is very meditative. So in Sanskrit, the term is samadhi. So samadhi, the intellect, is even. Mm-hmm. Meaning that you can have, and in yoga, samadhi is saying you have the same love for everything, all thoughts, all people. You can have that same love and have it for everything regardless. So it's very, it's dispassionate, but in a very positive way.
Huh.
And it's sort of
platonic, kind of.
Yeah, it's you're relating to objects and people from a very different perspective. It's not the small perspective of your personal experience, but from a larger perspective. And that state has different flavors. So your flavor was that of this dreamlike, sort of in between sleep, dreaming, and wakefulness.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I actually felt like I had kind of a vision. Because I have a friend of mine in hospice right now, and a friend who had passed a couple years ago came to me, like, I believe, to take my friend. And, so it was kind of a spiritual moment for sure on your table. I didn't share that part with you.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. But I also had an interesting thing of some physical things coming up that I thought had been resolved. I've been fighting with a kind of a trick shoulder, and that sort of came back.
Yeah.
And just some kind of stomach issues. But is this something that if I had further treatments that it would help resolve those, or?
I'm going to say probably. Ayurveda is a very interesting sort of science because it's always different for different people. You can never really be like, it's customizable to people in one sense, but I'm not sure because it's the first time I don't know much about. I didn't really take the full history either. You just sort of came in.
Sure.
But yeah, this happens even in meditation when people learn to meditate. They have an old injury or something, and all of a sudden in meditation they have a sensation in that area.
Interesting.
Because I remember when you first contacted me about doing this, the question was, is Ayurveda spiritual? Because you were like, I always thought of Ayurveda as just like eating healthy and taking herbs and things like that. And that's probably how most people in the U.S. see it, because like in our culture in America, we're very much like a melting pot. So we like to take little things, but we take just a small aspect of it, and sometimes we don't realize it's part of a bigger system.
Okay.
So Ayurveda,
and spirituality is a big part of that system.
Yeah, and so this is part of what we would call the Vedic tradition of ancient India. And people have heard of the Vedas, all these sort of ancient, we say writings, but actually they were, it was oral tradition first. It didn't get written down till much later. So you actually have people memorize whole chunks of it, and they were living libraries.
Wow. Wow.
So this knowledge, the way I was taught is this knowledge was downloaded by these sages. They would go into deep meditation, and they would just hear these sounds. And it was a language they didn't know, but they knew what it meant.
Yeah.
So they would tell their disciples, okay, when in meditation, this is what I heard. And I know it means this. And they sort of collected that. And then one sage came along, took all that information, and came up with the rules of Sanskrit. So what they heard was Sanskrit or Samskriti. And then I think the sage was Panini, but not the sandwich. And he came up with all the rules of Sanskrit. Sanskrit's a very detailed, has a lot of rule, like everything is there. It's not, it's almost like a computer language.
Okay.
It's very detailed. But anyway, so the Vedic tradition, everything is spiritual. There is not anything that is not spiritual, because the human experience is not separate compartments.
I like that.
You have a body, and then there's the mind, or there's the nervous system, then you have a brain. Everything, it comes together. Even in Ayurveda, we talk about the three bodies. Stula Sharira, which is the gross body, and then there is the Sukshma Sharira, which is the subtle. Sukshma means subtle. Subtle would be like where the prana is, the mind, perception, all that kind of work that's happening. So mind, feelings, thoughts, perception are happening at that level. And then there's something called the Karana Sharira, which is the causal body. What causes you to come into this world? So your life lessons, and technically your life lessons, like your karma, is in your subtle body. And then in your causal body it's interesting because at one point it says that your causal body has no qualities to it. It's sort of like a witness.
So can Ayurveda help people resolve things like karma?
Well, that's the thing about karma is that
You gotta stick it out.
it depends. So it's said that when you are about to be born, there is like a heap, like a mountain of karma in front of you. This is all your karmas.
Uh-huh.
And then you grab some of it and carry it with you into this life.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that which you carry with you, some is mutable and some is immutable.
Mm-hmm.
So in yoga in particular, there is this sort of branch of yoga called karma yoga,
Mm-hmm.
which is the yoga of action, but it's also the yoga of having to pacify or soften some of the karmas. And in Vedic spirituality, what you're doing in this life is reducing that mound, that not that you've taken with you, but that's still in your bank.
Uh-huh.
You could think of it as a sort of celestial bank, and you have a whole bunch of karma in there. You want to get rid of all of it.
Oh.
But usually people start with the bad first,
Uh-huh.
and then the good, because good karma is also kind of like a prison. So I'll give you a simple example. Okay, you came and saw me, had a great experience.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I really liked that. I like Andy, he's great. You come and see me a few more times. Because remember, karma is action, the fruit of action, and the seed for future action. It's all one word.
Mm-hmm.
So when you form an impression of me that's good, then that forms like a seed or even an expectation. Then it keeps happening. So that karma grows bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day I'm not so nice to you. Maybe I didn't.
Oh, no.
Well, you know how it is, right? Uh-huh. You know, you're not professional with someone and you've been professional. All of a sudden, it's one day. Then what happens in your mind, because you had this karma of how I am or how you think I am, and then that gets shaken and then you get disturbed because of that attachment.
Uh-huh.
So,
okay, so I get attached to how I think you are. That's interesting.
I mean, we get it. Everyone does it. It's not It's not like, oh, you're not spiritual people don't do it. We do it, but that's how things like Ayurveda help. Because when you understand like some of these principles, like the doshas, which are these primal energies that help the body function,
right?
But it's also responsible for all the diseases. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Well, the reason I chose you for this particular program with the Justice card was, you know, it has the scales of balance. And Ayurveda is all about keeping balanced ultimately, right?
Does Justice have a sword too?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
that's the doshas.
Oh,
so
okay.
When that balance is correct, then that sword can help you, you know, defeat or cut illness and all these other negative things.
Cool.
But if that balance is not correct, that sword is actually used against you.
Oh, okay. So you help people find balance?
Yes, I help people find their particular balance.
Which is a very different individual journey. And is some of this diet and exercise?
Yeah, a lot of it is lifestyle. And then under lifestyle, you could say it's called ahara, which is that which you take in, which is not just food and water, but your perception too.
Oh.
How you perceive things can affect the doshas. So in Ayurveda, you have 3 doshas that are related to the 5 elements. In Ayurveda, we have, in Vedic alchemy, there's 5 elements. There's the 4 that we know, air, earth, fire, and water. The 5th one is space.
Oh, okay.
The space is very subtle. And it's the framework.
That was the last program.
Yeah. So space is very subtle, and it's where everything else hangs on. Like this, where does this exist in space? So we have vata, which is like wind. It's space and air, and so vata is that which moves and gives you life. So prana is considered like the refined essence of vata. And then you have pitta, which is mainly fire and a little bit of water, because fire by itself gets out of control. So to modulate,
so it tempers it.
It tempers it. So there's a little bit of water in pitta, but it's mostly fire.
But so you would never want to extinguish the fire.
No, because fire is life, right?
Okay.
Like if you get too cold.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
get too hot, same thing. So the refined essence of pitta is called tejas, which is the brilliance. When someone is brilliant in their mind, then they have an essence. And then there's kapha or kappa if you're a strict on your Sanskrit, which is earth and water.
Yeah.
And it's all about, pitta is all about transformation or cooking.
So Andy, if I am a listener right now and I'm thinking, well, I want to know what I am and I want to get one of these Marma sessions and figure out some of this stuff, how do they reach you? How do they find you?
They can go to my website, which is handsheartsoul.us.
Okay.
They can text me at 314-494-5042. That's probably even better than going to the website.
Say that number again.
314-494-5042.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. Next up, another form of spiritual justice when Mystic Fix returns. You're listening to News Talk STL 1019 and 94.1.